What's up guys, I'm Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So today I'm going to tell you how to get your biceps to start growing a lot faster. And it doesn't necessarily involve a lot of this. Now I know you guys know that I'm a fan of heavy barbell curls and actually utilizing a cheat curl to overload the eccentric. But we know that that's one mechanism of creating overload. We know that there are a lot of other ways to do that. And what I'm going to tell you here is you're going to want to start to trade in that bar for this bar if you're looking for faster gains. I'm going to tell you the reason for that because there is a very distinct reason for that. But it's going to require that you don't just do a chin-up, because there's some issues with a chin-up, my favorite exercise, when it comes to bicep development. And there's a way to actually change the chin-up if you want to enhance or speed up that bicep development, and it requires a few modifications. So here's what we do. The first thing is, obviously with a chin-up, we're going an underhand grip. But we need to look at how wide that grip needs to be, and more importantly, how wide the grip is in relation to the elbows. Because anatomically, guys, we have something called the carrying angle of the elbow. The carrying angle is in place to allow us to actually carry something at our sides and not interfere with locomotion of the legs. So we know that the angle, actually, if you look at the upper arm, comes down and kind of veers a little bit to the outside. So that if we had something in our hands, it wouldn't hit the legs, as I said. Well, when we curl our arm up and we train our biceps and bring our elbow into flexion here, the same thing happens here. The arm doesn't go straight up or even inward. It actually goes a little bit to the outside of the shoulder. So what we want to do is we want to be able to mimic that because we want to, again, maximally target the biceps. So when we get to the bar and we take an underhand grip, we'd want to make sure that the elbows are more inward in relation to the hands. Hands outside the elbows, right? Because we can't manipulate this. Once we grab a bar, it's fixed. We can't change that. If we had a dumbbell, we could actually change the dumbbell in space as we curl it. But here we can't, so we have to set it up that way. The next thing we want to do is, we talked about this tip before, of involving the biceps more by deactivating the forearms. And we can do that by bending back the wrists a little bit. Now, be careful when you do this. You want to make sure that you're not just gripping in the outer fingers, because that could lead to some medial elbow pain that we talked about before. So you actually want to grip the bar. You just then rotate backwards, just like this. Grip it in the palm, grip it in the palm, rotate backwards. Your hands are outside of your elbows. Now, as you start to curl, this is where all the difference is made. When I come and I curl up to the top here, you don't want to collapse yourself down. People talk about getting the chin over the bar, but what that really is referencing is your chin higher than the bar, not necessarily over the bar this way. Because when you close down that angle, you actually take a lot of the stress off of the bicep, and that's something that's going to take away from the effectiveness of what we're trying to do here. Because we know if I took a dumbbell and curled it all the way to the top, all the way to where it was touching my shoulder here, that I could stay here for a hell of a lot longer than I could, and if I backed it off even 10 or 20 degrees, kept more of an angle here, and therefore more stress from the force of gravity downward onto that dumbbell, onto my biceps, which is what we're trying to get. So why don't we do the same thing here? We want to keep that angle open. So as we come up to the top, we keep the distance, all right? And that distance is key. That distance makes a huge difference in what we're going to get from this exercise. So not closing down, but keeping that distance. We come all the way down. The fourth thing I do is I actually start to lean my body back just a little bit, because the motion is not even straight up and down, but it's this. Up and towards it. Lean back a little bit, come up and towards it. Never closing that angle down any more than that, but you're basically curling your body. If I had a curl bar down here, I'd be going in an arc. If I'm taking my body here with my fixed hands, I have to arc my body, all right? So it looks like this. I'm down and here, up, I come a little bit closer, down and away, up and closer, down and away, up and closer, just like that. And you can see it's putting a number on those biceps. Now, why does this work so well? We talked about an alternative mechanism to overloading. We talked about eccentric muscle damage being one of those options, but we also talked about progressive overload. You'll be shocked at how much this will overload your biceps in a novel and unique way, because if you're used to just curling dumbbells or curling a barbell, you're likely not even getting as much stress on your biceps as this is going to do. If you weigh 180 pounds, some of it's going to be unweighted by your lats. We know that. But a great deal of it is going to be borne by the biceps, especially after you make these modifications. That might equate to a 120-pound load and you're used to curling 100 pounds on a curl, but are unable to curl a 120-pound weight. It's the ability to manipulate your body weight in space here that allows you to work with those strength curves and how they adjust along the path of this exercise that will allow you to start performing this with a heavier load and therefore start to see results you haven't seen from doing the other exercises that don't involve this. The final point I'll make on this, guys, is as a progressively overloaded exercise, what you would do is add weight when able. If you could do 10 or 12 or 14 of these without challenge, it's time to start adding more weight. You guys know I'm a big fan of this, working up even to 3 plates on a weighted chin. The fact of the matter is, you need to make sure you're always challenging yourself. But when we make these modifications, I promise you, you're gonna see faster gains in your biceps than you ever have before. If you found this video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. Let me know what I'm gonna cover. I'll do my best to do that for you. If you're looking for step-by-step plans, guys, that at times we incorporate body weight as a resistance option because we know it's the best option for what we're trying to accomplish. We work them all in with all of our barbell and dumbbell exercises as well. They're all over at ATHLEAN-X.com. In the meantime, if you haven't already, guys, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, talk to you again soon.